Alright, Shalom. It's Brother Kashab coming back at you with another quick lesson. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. And double honors once again to your apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and rule well. And peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the hopefully elect, as well as those that believe in the gospel and may you endure to the end, Lord willing. Alright, and I just want to get into a quick lesson today. Right, just basically, you have to serve the Lord with intentions, all right, or you have to serve the Lord with a purpose. Okay, you can't be, in this truth, not knowing what your purpose is, all right, not knowing why you're here, not inquiring about how you can be a better servant of the Lord, all right. You have to do everything in the truth with a purpose, whether it's studying, whether it's reading, whether it's being a brother, all right, whether it's doing lessons, all right. You can't neglect the gifts, that the Lord has given to you, all right, as it says in 1 Timothy, I believe the 4th chapter, all right, because the Spirit, all right, is a gift and it has been given to us, and day in, day out, you have to utilize it, all right? You have to really, whenever you're doing this truth, you just have to have a purpose in doing it, right? You can't just be out here just doing anything, all right? Or just being willy-nilly, right? Not having the right intentions, all right? Because the Lord counts those things and it matters, man, all right? And you as a man, all right, especially a man of the Lord, you shouldn't be out here not doing things with specific intentions, all right? Things like pleasing the Lord, things like bettering yourself in the truth, you see? So I just got a few precepts lined up, Lord willing, this lesson be edifying, all right? So I'm going to start off with the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 10. It says, "And whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest," you see? So whatever you do, right, especially in this truth, do it with might, you see? Do it with power, do it with authority, all right? Do it with intentions, man, all right? If you're going to serve the Lord, serve the Lord. Don't serve the Lord and neglect, what you're doing, all right? It says strength, power, might, human strength, all right? Produce, perhaps. It says, in the Strong's definition, right, when you go down in a parentheses, it says force in a good or a bad sense, all right, figuratively, all right, but that's the point, when the scripture's telling you to do something with thy might, whenever you put your hand to something, all right, like the parable in Luke, when it talks about a man, putting his hand towards the plow, all right. Well, when you put your hand toward the plow, that means what? You start to work. You agree to work to do the job, right? But once you start doing the job, you can't stop doing the job and expect a payment, you see? Because you got to continue to do it with force. You have to do it with the intentions, all right, on receiving something, you see? Purpose, right? Let me get that word purpose, man. I know it goes into per and pose. Purpose. Intention. It says aim, a goal, object to kept in view. You see? So you reading, right, the object to be kept in view is what? Bettering myself on the history, bettering myself on something that I can utilize as what? As a prophet, as a teacher. You see? If I'm studying, right, my intentions of study is to do what? Master what? The milk, master a breakdown, you see? Because like brothers always say, if you can't teach something without looking at your notes, you don't know it, you see? You may understand it, but if you can't teach something, you don't know it, all right? And there's always something that we could be working on in this ministry, all right? And it's true. It's nothing that's never a dull moment to say, oh, I got everything put together. Okay, anytime the elders and apostles are still learning, you talk about men that's been in this thing 15, 20, 30, 40 years, You know, there's no way that you know, as a younger man, all right, such as myself, should have the mindset of, oh, you know, I think I'm good where I'm at, right? You can't be satisfied with that, you know, and that goes into your intentions, all right? Sometimes you'll have an evil intention to yourself and not know it, right? If I know I'm not that good at doing lessons, all right, or if I want to be a teacher, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to work on that, you see? Pull a brother to the side and say, oh, I need to do, I got a lesson I want to do, you know, because lesson not only a lesson, but it builds you up in the spirit, right? It helps you retain information. It helps you learn, you see? So all of these things are vital, all right, in playing parts in serving the Lord, all right, with a purpose, you see, with intent, all right? Now, let's go to the book of Romans. It's at 14. I just bookmarked a few of them. All right. We can get the 1 Corinthians. All right, and then go to the Romans next. All right. So, come on, phone. So, look, this 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain, all right? And if you running to obtain, that's running with intentions, right? You're running with the purpose, all right, or the intention to what? Win the race. So the same thing goes for us serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua in the truth. You're serving the Lord to do what? Hopefully you be a part of the elect. Hopefully you be saved. You see? That's purpose. It's something to obtain here in this ministry. All right? And we know that the Lord is going to bless those men, okay, who are sincere and who are diligent unto the end. All right? Who know what their intent, who knows what their purpose is. All right? It says, verse 25, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things, right? Self-moderate, discipline, all right? Because a good soldier, all right, or a good leader or a good teacher will have to show temperance, man, all right? They will have to be able to refrain themselves from certain things, you know? In which when you don't do that, that's how you get caught up in not serving the Lord, all right? That's how you get caught up in not knowing what your purpose is, you know? It's the point. It says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown. So these people in the world, you know, they strive for their purposes and things, all right? All for the vain glories of the world, all right? For riches, right? Paper dollars, fiat currency, fake money, you know, was the diamond chains, right? The fancy cars, the big houses, right? All of these things are corruptible. Why? Because you can still lose them, you see? And that's what these people are trying to achieve. This is what they are trying to obtain. So how much more us in the truth when we are trying to attain something that's incorruptible, something that's eternal? What should our mindset and our purpose be? Okay, when we are focused on trying to achieve something in the ministry, working for the King of the universe, for crying out loud. You see? It says, but we incorruptible, I therefore shall run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, right? Which is basically, you know, speaking metaphorically, is look, I'm not in this race, all right? I'm not in this fight just for nothing. I have a purpose, all right? I'm not shadow boxing. I'm training to the point to where when I get in a real fight, in a real thing, that I know what to do, right? And that's how our mindset should be, all right, in this ministry, serving the Lord with a purpose, all right? Now, this is Romans chapter 14. verse 5, it says, one man esteem it one day above another. Another esteem it every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Right? So I'm reading the NLT. It says, in the same way, some think one day is more holy than another, while others think every day is alike. You should each be fully convinced that whichever day you choose is acceptable. All right? So you need to be fully persuaded in your own mind, right, that you're going to serve the Lord day in and day out. All right? Yeah, some days you might do more things in the spirit. You know, some days you don't. No big deal. Okay? But the point of the matter is that you need to be fully persuaded in your mind. Right? And when you're fully persuaded, as I keep saying, you're going to know what your purpose is. All right? You're going to have pure intentions until Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right? But, we'll go to Romans chapter 12, man. All right, and I'm going to end it off here. There was one in the Apocrypha I was thinking about, but I'm not going to get it. You know, it's all good. So this is Romans chapter 12, verse 1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. You see? So the Lord telling you, look, you know, if you are fully persuaded in your mind, well, this is what you got to do. You got to present your body a living sacrifice. All right. And it says that this is our reasonable service. So even putting time in, day out for the Lord, all right, is a reasonable service. It's something that we're supposed to do. Right here it is. The Lord wakes us up every morning. All right. Provides us with food, provides us with raiment, provides us with a roof over our head. Right. And you telling me you can't give the Lord an hour, you know, maybe 2 hours a day, 30 minutes, man. You know, it's just the little things, right? The service that we're doing to the Lord is reasonable, you know, very reasonable. It's not grievous, right? It's not burdensome. Yahushua said his burden is easy and his yoke is light, man. You see? So whatever you're doing, all right, if you're around the ministry, if you know of the truth, or you consider yourself in the truth, in the camp, all right, whatever you do, you have to know your purpose, all right? And whatever you do, you have to have pure intentions, you see? So that we may please Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua in the end, all right? So, you know, Lord, what is lesson was edifying, and with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, infinite honors to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Rechak Wadash. The bonds once again to the apostles and the great millstone. Shalom, Abarakium, Alabacharium. Until next time, Shalom.